Alright, what's going on, guys? Troy back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video talking about The Walking Dead Season 4 mid-season finale, Too Far Gone, and whether or not I think it was the best episode ever. Okay, so I didn't get enough talking about The Walking Dead mid-season finale, Season 4, Episode 8 yet. Wanted to do this video to kind of get your guys' feedback and also just to kind of see where we're at. Now, if you think it was the best episode ever, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think so, give me a thumbs down. So I do think that there are going to be a good number of people out there, like I talked a little bit about this in my review, that may actually have hated the episode. And the reason why is because through Season 3 and Season 4, most of it anyway, we are kind of lulled into a false sense of security at the prison. The characters are within the series, but so are we. You know, it's sort of like after being on the road for so long, Herschel's Farm, everything we've seen in the past before, it's like they finally found this place that is a safe haven for them. They can start a life here. They can, they can grow food, set up a farm. They've got the gates, and even though the walkers can cause some trouble, and you can have a few people die from illness and things like that, it seems like it's relatively safe. However, the thing about it is because it's a desirable location, anybody that knows about it or sees it, any survivors, are going to want to take it. Now, this is something that has been a part of the governor's storyline since we met him. The very first episode when we meet the governor, he is basically shown to survive off of taking from other survivors. His group, Woodbury, they make it by taking what others have. He's a pirate, basically, and I love the way in Season 4 that they kind of show that. Even the part where he's got the the beard, the eye patch, and then there's the parrot on his shoulder from the pillow. I think it's a pillow or cushion or whatever. You can look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. But he's a pirate. He takes from others. So once he gets to care about these new characters, the girls, Megan, Lily, Tara, and he basically starts a new family with them, a zombie apocalypse family, if you will, after his family, a post-apocalyptic family. Essentially, he gets a reason, to live again, and he wants to keep them safe. And sure enough, he's right, because the second that he leaves to go and do this, basically, Megan is playing near the water, and next thing you know, she is bitten and she dies. So that said, he was kind of right to know that they need to get another location. They need to find somewhere else where they can actually have a life where they can actually be safe to some degree. Now, granted, Woodbury was burned down, so it's not the type of place that they'd be able to go back to again. And they didn't really seem to have. He didn't seem to have the desire to want to go back there because of what happened to him in the past. So all of these factors come together, which leads to the ultimate climax for a TV series I've ever seen. This episode was like everything that we've seen in the past 2 seasons. From the moment that Rick's group found the prison in Season 3, the premiere, they fought to get it. They spill blood, like Rick says. They take it. They took it. He feels it's theirs. It's his right to it because they've earned it. And then all of a sudden, their old enemy rolls up again, and out of nowhere, months and months later, what was it, 7 months later now, something like that, after the time skip and everything, and wants it. So obviously, he's not going to give it up without a fight. He's not going to give it up easily, and he's going to try to talk him into, living together. It doesn't work, and we see the greatest battle in the TV series so far go down. Now, up until now in The Walking Dead, it's always been about small character, battles. Rick and Shane. Rick versus Shane. You've got a few members of the group. They're fighting. Something's going on. Randall. These kinds of things. You've got Lori is killed from natural causes and the zombies. You've got things like that occurring. In Season 3, we get to see the start of survivors fighting other survivors. Evil characters. You've got the governor, who is probably the most evil character in the entire series, who I'll do a video spotlight on probably tomorrow or the next day, very soon anyway, giving my thoughts on him as a character. very evil. And all of that leads up to this episode right here, the epic conclusion. And I'll tell you, my hopes were high, and this episode surpassed my expectations. It was what we wanted to see in season 3, but after watching this, I'm glad we didn't. You know, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. It's the epic conclusion to the last season and a half of events that we've seen take place ever since Rick got to prison, ever since the governor was introduced, and this crash course that they seem to be on. No matter what happens, no matter how long it is, no matter where they go or what they do, they come back to this place, and they they end up throwing down. The battle itself was not a disappointment at all, I think. The most exciting sequence of a TV series I've ever seen. And I think it even surpassed the comic book series originally. The comic book was great with the prison and Woodbury, seeing the battle going back and forth. But I liked that the TV series took it a level further in that we had the governor essentially lose Woodbury, and then afterwards find himself compelled, like a person with OCD, compelled to come back to this location, even though he says it's not about revenge, it's not about this, it's not about that. Yeah, so that's that. So I do think there are going to be a good number of people that are going to say they hated the episode because of the fact that we had so many deaths, and it's shocking. It's tragic. It's tragic to see Judy die. That's a death that even Laurie's death does not compare to the death of a baby on cable television. Herschel, and what he did in internment, and how he was the voice of reason for Rick, like a zombie apocalypse surrogate dad for him, as a character. The father to Maggie and Beth, so tragic, so sad. And I do think that some people would be turned off by that. However, I feel that if they don't be honest to the world of zombie apocalypse, then there's no reason to do it, In a zombie apocalypse, there's danger everywhere. I mean, you see just even Megan playing there. She can't even play by herself in the open without a walker coming from somewhere, with a, when you least expect it type of thing, and ends up biting her. But what are you going to do? Are you going to have her stay right by your side all the time, every day for however long they've been alive for, 3-4 years, this type of thing? It's impossible to always keep an eye. It's impossible. So there's going to be characters that are going to die. That's part of the show. I do see that a lot of people will probably say, I hate the show after watching it because it was so tragic. But if you interpret it as they're being realistic to this world, this zombie apocalypse world, and what it would really be like in reality if a zombie apocalypse occurred, you would get people like the governor. You'd get lots of them. They would be forced to, because when they run out of food, they run out of supplies, and they don't have the skills or ability to find it, for themselves. They're going to turn on other groups, and they're going to want to take their locations and things like that. And even if they're going to take the risk, to attack and to get into a gun battle, they'll do it for the promise or for the hope of this zombie apocalypse safe haven, which is like heaven to them, essentially, the prison. So now, in the end, the prison's destroyed. The characters got to find a new location. They're all in disarray. They're all separated. We'll have to see how they end up, meeting up again if they do. We've got, lots of characters that have been lost in the episode. So, no more governor story arcs, nothing like that. That's all wrapped up. That's all finished. And I felt like it was a good, just end. He didn't win. He didn't lose per se. I mean, it was like a stalemate. It was kind of like, no group really won. Rick's group don't get to keep the prison. The place was destroyed. Their objective was failed. Their mission was failed, so to speak. And what they would have wanted to do, they lost members of their group. On the other side, the governor lost everything, and his group was basically completely annihilated, aside from, I think, Lily and Tara. I think they made it, but we don't know where they are, if we'll ever see them in the series again. We probably won't. But it'd be interesting. Maybe we will. That'd be interesting if we did, but I don't think we will. And just, what it does for the series. It's the ultimate ending for everything we've been seeing the last couple seasons. It's sort of like that final piece of the puzzle that we all wanted to see, that we all really just just were hoping that we would see that final conclusive battle that they kind of dangled the carrot for a long time and finally gave it to us. I loved it. I thought it was the greatest episode ever for sure. And I really just want to hear what you guys think, whether or not you loved it. Did some of you hate it? Please speak up if you did. Thumb it down if you did hate it. But I'm interested to see the thumbs up versus thumbs down for this video as a poll for myself, from you guys, and what you thought. That's my reasoning. That's why I thought it was the best episode of The Walking Dead ever. And I mean, you can't really compare anything else to it. It was like seeing a zombie apocalypse war just break out. That's as big a scale as I think we're ever going to see. Maybe down the road we can see some other survivors and other types of battle type war scenarios. But for anybody who loves action, who loves to see these types of things, war and stuff like that, such as myself, this really did it. It did not disappoint, and this seals the deal. I mean, The Walking Dead can end now. I'm happy with what we've seen so far from the TV series. When the show first started, I never thought that it would be as good as it's been, and I never thought we would see an episode like this one. It is, my opinion, the best, the greatest episode of a TV series. Not just The Walking Dead, but the greatest episode of a TV series I've ever seen, at least in my opinion. For anybody who's watched the show all the way through, it's like the big payoff at the end to everything we've been waiting for, and it did not disappoint. Let me know what you guys have to say about that, what your thoughts are. Maybe if you preferred another episode to this one, please write in the comments below, because I want to see it. If you hated it, let me know. And if you're like me and you loved it, thumb it up, let me know. Anyway, I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, and I'm saying peace.